Greetings, family. Welcome to Lula Misela, the podcast. My name is Sithabile Khomo, and I am the content curator and the host of our podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a brief look into faith and having a subtopic, which is a journey of trust and belief. So, faith is often described as a profound and unwavering trust in something beyond human understanding. It is also a belief in the unseen and the promise of things hoped for. And in religious context, faith is the foundation upon which individuals build their relationship with God, seeking solace, guidance, as well as strength. The Bible offers a wealth of teachings that shed light on the nature of faith, the ways in which it sustains us, and how we can nurture it in our lives. The various passages referenced in the Psalms and the New Testament Gospels and the epistles as well all reveal the different or the key aspects of faith that inspire and challenge believers in trust or to trust God more deeply. From the book of Psalms chapter 1 verse 2 and verse 3, here we see the psalmist painting a picture of the blessed person whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. This person is one who places his faith in God's teachings and follows his word, and is compared to a tree planted by the streams of water that yield its fruit in season. Faith, as depicted in this passage, leads to spiritual nourishment as well as stability. It is like a deep-rooted tree that remains firm and fruitful even in the face of life's challenges. This analogy underscores the importance of trusting in God's word, which proves both spiritual sustenance as well as protection. From the book of Psalms chapter 4 verse 6 up to verse 8, here we see an illustration of the relationship between faith and peace, where we also see the psalmist confessing, "Many are asking, who will bring us prosperity? Let the light of your face shine upon us." Yet in verse 8, the psalmist boldly declares, "I will lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety." This passage underscores a critical aspect of faith, its ability to bring peace. And also we see from these passages or these verses from the book of Psalms chapter 4 verse 6 to verse 8 how we ought to be trusting in God, and as a result, as believers, we find a sense of security that transcends external circumstances, also offering comfort even in times of uncertainty. Faith in God's protection allows individuals to rest with confidence, knowing that He watches over us. From the book of Psalms chapter 5 verse 4 to verse 8, it continues this theme of trust, where the psalmist expresses his confidence that God will hear and respond to his prayers. In verse 8, the psalmist prays, "Lead me, Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before me." The psalmist's faith is evident in his plea for divine guidance. Faith is not only about believing in God's existence, but also about seeking his guidance and trusting that he will direct our paths. This passage reminds believers that through faith they are never alone. God provides the direction and wisdom needed to navigate life's complexities. In the New Testament, faith is further explored through the actions and words of Jesus Christ. In Matthew 8 verse 10, Jesus commends the faith of a Roman centurion who seeks healing for his servant. Jesus declares, "Truly I tell you, I have not found anyone in Israel with such great faith." The centurion's faith, demonstrated through his humble trust in Jesus' authority, serves as an example of the power of unwavering belief. Later in the book of Matthew chapter 8 verse 13, we see Jesus confirming the centurion's request, "Let it be done just as you believed it would." This highlights the connection between faith and the manifestation of God's will in the believer's life. If you go to the preceding chapter in the book of Matthew, which is chapter 9, and we will take a quick or brief look into verse 22 as well as 29. Here we see these two verses also emphasizing the role of faith in healing as well as restoration. In verse 22 in particular, Jesus tells a woman who has been suffering with hemorrhage to take heart, "Daughter, your faith has healed you." In verse 29, when Jesus heals two blind men, he says, "According to your faith, let it be done to you." These verses remind us that faith is often the key to unlocking the miraculous. It is not that faith itself has power, but rather the faith places the believer in a position to receive God's grace and intervention. In the book of Matthew chapter 10 verse 28 to 31, Jesus assures his followers of God's care and protection. He encourages them not to fear those who can harm the body, but trust in God's ability to protect their souls. Jesus' words in verse 31 says, "So do not be afraid, you are worth more than many sparrows," underscores the value that God places on his children. Faith in this context is about recognizing God's intimate concern for every aspect of our lives, both physical and spiritual. The epistle to the Hebrews also provides significant insight into the nature of faith. Hebrews 2 verse 17 states that Jesus was made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful, faithful high priest. Jesus in his humanity exemplified perfect faith, showing how it is possible to trust in God fully, even in the midst of hardship and suffering. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 5 further affirms that Moses was as faithful as the servant in all God's house, but Jesus as the Son is greater still. This contrast highlights the superiority of Christ's faith and the call for believers to place their trust in him. As we look at the book of Revelation chapter 3 verse 10 to verse 14, we see how it presents a powerful message of perseverance and faith, and Jesus promises to keep those who have endured patiently, saying, "I will also keep you from the hour of trial that is going to come on the whole world." The faithful are assured of God's protection and provision during times of testing, reinforcing the theme that faith is a source of strength, especially in moments of trial. Faith is not a passive attribute but an active choice. It involves trust, action, and continual pursuit of God's will. Through the Psalms, Gospels, as well as the epistles, we are reminded that faith is not about the absence of difficulty, but about choosing to trust in God's goodness and sovereignty despite our circumstances. Faith leads us to peace, to healing, and to a deeper relationship with God. It is a source of spiritual nourishment and the key to experiencing the fullness of God's promises. Ultimately, faith is a journey, a continual movement towards greater trust and belief in the one who is faithful. We hope that you guys did enjoy today's episode, and we'll see you guys in our following episode. God bless.